Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. So today I wanted to talk to you about the correlation between our nutrition and our exercise and lifestyle choices, and how that correlates to how we age, how well we age or how poorly we age. Do you really think it's any coincidence whatsoever that, say, as we have become more sedentary and as we develop poorer and poorer nutrition habits all the time, that we also are developing disease, illness, and poor health along with it? It's no coincidence in my mind, and the stats actually back that up. So especially when you take into consideration the fact that other countries other than North America, say in Europe, they're not having the same problems to the same extent as we are. An example of that we saw in Scotland when we were there in September. They are very active. They have their dinner at night and they all go out for a walk. It's crazy. We retreat to our houses and sit on our couch. So they aren't experiencing the same healthcare concerns to the same extent. They are slowly becoming as unhealthy as we are, sadly. But they aren't currently experiencing the same health problems to the same extent as we are here in North America, where it has become an urgent. It's become urgent. Anyways, they probably very likely have their own problems that I'm unaware of, but I just know what I do know for our North American society. And yes, I know that we have the problems and there's an urgency around it. I know that I am incredibly passionate about it, for good reason. Because once you already develop problems, health problems that is, our healthcare system, as good as it is here in Canada, still moves at a snail's pace. So it's better to not ever have developed those problems in the first place, if it's possible to not develop them, and prevent them instead, rather than having to go through the system. And I'm seeing this now as my mom has her hip surgery date booked. But things leading up until that have moved at an absolute snail's pace and been so slow getting there in the first place. And I see her suffer in the meantime. So, important caveat that I have to mention here is the fact that once you are in that healthcare rut, you can still make the change. And an example of that actually is on Tony's video. I think it's on X3, I believe. There's a fellow on there who's, I think, had 2 heart attacks, if not more health concerns, which I'm sure with 2 heart attacks, there are other health concerns that go along with. But he's lost a bunch of weight, he's improved his nutrition, and he's working out and exercising, and he's in greater health now than ever before. So yes, case in point, it can be done once you're in that rut. It just becomes more difficult, so don't let it happen. And as I mentioned before, there's an urgency. There really is. We have an urgency around our health here in this country, and it just makes me so sad to watch people suffer needlessly when they don't have to. There's something that can be done. And I use the example of my mom. She's 88 now, but for years before, she worried about me as she watched me pack on the weight. I drank too much, I was becoming less active all the time, I was withdrawn, I wasn't exercising, I was eating crap food, and on a regular basis, I couldn't sleep, I had no energy. On a regular basis, I was in a brain fog because I wasn't fueling my body and I wasn't exercising and I wasn't flooding it with the necessary neurotransmitters and chemicals that it needs and that are produced with working out and exercise. So I was just getting by. And can you imagine how much needless pain and worry I caused her while I was in this stage of my life? So not to mention the needless pain that I was causing myself, because I was subject to every bug that came along, and I had aches and pains that I'd never had before, and I was developing these, and I was hearing from other people in my peer group at the time that, oh, that's to be expected, you're getting older, so it comes with age. BS. BS, it doesn't need to. Because now that I've actually started exercising and working out regularly and have been for 2 years now, At 50, I can tell you, and with all 100% honesty, say that I'm in better health now than I was even in my 20s, when I was partying literally all the time. Not a fact I'm proud of, as I was a young mom in my 20s. But I am seriously in better health now than ever before in my life, and the aches and pains have gone away. It's more than just the outside physical change, because I've changed things on the inside. I've changed the way my mindset works, and now I know that there's actually chemical processes taking place in there, so that it's a cycle, so that as I change my brain, I change my physical appearance and my body, and I change my life. It's this cycle, right? And I've actually recently learned from Dr. Amen, which is someone I highly, highly, highly recommend that everyone follow, that you can improve your brain as you age. And that's a pretty exciting, fantastic statistic, really. Largely, in part, due to proper nutrition and exercise. Now, that's the really fantastic part, because that's easy, really. Like, okay, easier said than done. However, it's less complicated than trying to remember what pill to take with food, without food, before supper, after dinner, etc., etc. And I wholeheartedly believe that I have improved more than just my physical appearance, because, as I said before, the brain fog is gone. I am sleeping like a baby at night most nights, unless there's something that's on my mind. I mean, that still happens. And I have energy again, and I'm probably because of the proper nutrition that I'm fueling my body with, and the good night's sleep that I'm getting. It kind of makes sense, right? And very important to me, as I said earlier, and it should be important to everyone, I've set the stage now for my aging with my body and my brain intact. So that's very, very important, as I recently heard in one of Dr. Amen's speeches that Alzheimer's is predicted to double by the year 2020. We're heading into 2018. This January, that's only 2 years away, and Alzheimer's is predicted to double. That's a crazy statistic that should scare the out of everybody, I think. So I'm setting the stage so that is not going to happen. And brain imaging can show you improvements that you're actually making to your brain, which I also think is pretty exciting. I don't necessarily need to have one to have proof of that for myself. Not to say that I wouldn't have one if one was offered to me. However, it's not necessary, because I can actually feel the difference in my body. But knowing that I'm taking the steps to prevent things like the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's, the diabetes, the heart disease, etc., 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 because the list just goes on and on and on endlessly. And at the same time, I know that I'm also reversing. Yeah, you heard that right. Reversing damage that I've done, because in previous years when I wasn't treating my body and my brain so well, that damage can actually be reversed. Can you believe that? That is very, very cool. So, and on Alzheimer's already shows up in the brain decades before we ever experience symptoms. Another statistic that I think should scare the crap out of all of us. So what you see me doing in terms of exercise, and what you see me on my videos doing as I'm working out, is absolutely nothing compared to what's taking place internally. Like, just the chemical process of releasing serotonin, just one of the chemical soup ingredients that our body needs to function at a great level. That's what's going on inside. And I actually think of that when I'm exercising now, because I just think that's very, very cool. So I like to think of it as a cycle, because it is a cycle, but I actually like to think of it as a spiral staircase instead of being a cycle. And the reason I like to think of it as a spiral staircase is because we have the choice to either go up or down on that spiral staircase. I'm climbing up. Which way are you headed? Are you coming with me? So on that note, I would like you all to start today and take the little steps, no pun intended, but take some steps. Turn off the TV. We sit. Again, back to that sedentary health or lifestyle. Take the actual stairs versus the elevator or escalator. Park at the far end when you're at the mall. park away in the parking lot so that you have to walk a ways a distance to come into your car. And if you're going to more than one store in between times, take your packages and parcels out to your car in between times. There's extra steps that can be made there. Start eliminating the processed food in our nutrition, in our diet, because processed food it's bad. Include whole foods instead. Replace that apple fruit roll up with an actual whole food apple. Pop. Don't drink pop. Drink water. Our bodies are made up of water, 70% at least. So why would we think that we don't need water? We need water. We need to hydrate. Join me today, and I'm going to go back to the word play, my acronym that I love. Peace. Surround yourself with positive people, as positive a peer group and influences in your life as you can possibly stand and tolerate. Do it. L, love yourself. Please love yourself enough to do this for yourself. Love not only yourself, but love your family, because now that we know better, we can do better, as Maya Angelou says. And I really think that loving yourself is the most unselfish thing that you can do, because think of it in the terms of who's going to be left to care for you when you are in your golden years and you're not intact. Is that fair now that we know better? Is that fair to leave that responsibility to our kids, our families, other caregivers? Now that we know better, can we not do better? So love yourself enough. A, act now, don't delay, because it is harder to get out of the rut than it is to ever have not gone into that rut and trapped in there in the first place. Why? That means saying yes to opportunities and the help that's out there, because there's a virtual ton of resources available. I am only just one of a gazillion of them. So definitely say yes to opportunity when it's offered to you, and reach out. Okay, breathe. Play. Rant over from Team Thompson training today. And one last note. Whatever you do it and have fun in mind, because whoever wants to reach the ripe old age of 100+ years, have their brain and body intact and not have had any fun in the process. So have fun. Enjoy the process. Happy Friday, everyone. TGIF. Thank God I'm fitter today than I was 2 years ago.